Okay. So, hello, Shatzis. Welcome to our lovely chat here, celebrating the amazing sounds of Shoreline and the amazing sounds of the recent album that was released a week ago today.
Yes.
Is this the low point or the moment after? Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you can at least hear us, if not see us. I hope the English is okay. If not, then the kiosk near is selling some Übersetzen devices in the form of Bierflaschen. The more you drink, the more you can understand us. So hopefully that will work. I have the honor of introducing you or reintroducing you to Hansel and Julius of Shoreline. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us. Danke, dass ihr alle hier seid. Der Wahnsinn.
So, thank you very much. Who here already enjoyed the album or has tickets for the upcoming tour in October?
All newbies.
Okay. So, if you don't have tickets, I believe that the band will be more than happy to service you with those. The album is also available to stream, and do we have them in the store?
Coffee has it. Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So, yeah. So, my name is Or. I'm going to ask the guys some questions. We're going to have some time for you guys to ask questions as well. I already have a few very interesting questions. Some of them are more interesting and more difficult than my questions. So it's going to be very interesting later. And then you guys are going to play some songs from the album, from the back catalog, acoustic version. So stick around. I think you're going to have a very, very lovely evening. So again, thank you very much for joining us. And you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So as we said, the album was released a week ago today. Fourth album, and I'm going to start on the easy side. What's the most positive memory from writing, from going into the studio, talking to press too much, meeting fans, planning the tour? So I know that the themes are relatively heavy, asking for change, dealing with internal issues, but what's the most positive memory so far?
Should I start?
Yeah.
I have to explain a little, okay? So I moved recently, and I lived, before I lived in a flat where I could record demos and play guitar and sing. Recently is a year ago, or maybe 1.5 years ago, I moved to a new flat, and I can record demos as long as they are very silently played, but I definitely cannot sing in there. Like, I can't record anything that is louder than my speaking voice. So the way I would record demos is I would sit in my car, which is a smart Fortwo, and I would drive to a nearby, field, and have my laptop and record demos, and have people walk by and wonder why the small Asian kid is screaming in his car. And I had a couple I'd say embarrassing moments where people would give me looks and I would have to stop recording for a bit. And looking back, this is pretty funny. And I have some videos and recordings of me in the car. But overall, I really enjoyed writing and recording that way, even though it's very unusual, I think. But yeah, that's kind of my funny story about the record.
I would say that when we found out about this kebab place who's selling vegan kebab, and it's the perfect spot for us. Every time we drive home from the studio, we stop there, and we got to know the owner and everything. So we're really close with him now, and yeah, we had lots of vegan kebabs every time we went to the studio, basically. Yeah,
5 times a week, man.
Yeah.
Not exaggerating. 5 times a week.
So you're that 10th doctor, the 1 out of 10 doctors that recommend not to have doner once a week kebab.
Would never say that.
Yeah.
Would never say that.
We'll trust your health recommendation.
Yeah.
I'm guessing most of you already know that the album is a concept album that touches on surviving hardships.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how do you guys relate to the story? If I'm mistaken, each of you wrote half of the stories. How do you make it your own? Is it your own personal story or somebody else's story? What inspired? How do you connect to the album, the thematic side of the album?
You're right, it's a concept record. It's more, when I think about concept records, I think about American Idiot, I think about Queen, I think about rock operas that can be, played as a musical. And this is not like that. It is more well, it's not a protagonist going through a like very specific story. It's more a kind of how the record flows. And I would say like most of the record is very autobiographical. Is that how you said it in English? Sounds right. And I think when we write songs, especially when we write heavier songs, we all tend to just go through the lyrics and try to explain to each other what the song means. So even though at the very beginning the song might start as a very personal thing and still is, by the end of the production if you want to call it that way, it becomes like a personal song to all of us. And there's songs that I started writing that I could not finish because I was just lacking the words or not sure where I was trying to go with the song. And it's like Martin, Julius, or Christoph who would help me or like finish the song either like lyrically or musically. So even though like Julius writes basically half of the songs and maybe I do the other half, like it's by the end of the record cycle, it is like it's a true group project. It really is. Yeah.
Julius, how do you relate to the songs that Hansel writes or vice versa?
Good question. I mean, it's probably the same way how I relate to songs that another band wrote that I like. So I don't have to like specifically know what he wrote about the song. It's just like my own connection that I have to find. So I don't think it makes a lot of difference to me if it's like Hansel wrote the song or my favorite band wrote the song. Yeah.
And as we said, the themes of the album are about hardships around us, either personal or social, or at least how I saw some of them as a bit more wider than just me and my community or me and myself. How do you guys reflect on hardships when it gets to you?
Wow. Good question, man.
I told you we can go over them before. You said no.
Yeah, sure. Hit me, man. A big part is writing songs, but I would not even say that. I think loads of artists say that writing songs and being in a band is very therapeutical. You know what I mean? To them, I get where they come from, but it's not exactly that way for me. It's more about, maybe it's part of it. It's more about talking to my friends about my problems, because there are songs on here that caused me to start the conversation with my friends. And does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
To me, it's actually oftentimes I write a song, and like when the song is finished, and maybe even like when we record the song, like I understand then what the song is about actually. So I just write down what I feel. And then later on, I like see, okay, I was in this at this point in my life, I felt that way, and that's what the song's about, yeah.
So how does it feel listening to the album now after you concluded everything, you talked about it, about to hit the road with all those songs, standing in front of people, answering some questions, sharing your feelings? So how does it feel from the other side?
I heard the record now like 1,000 times, so I don't have a lot of like, it's, do you feel a lot when you listen to it? I mean, I'm proud of it, and I think the songs are like cool, and I really I like the songs, I love the songs because it means a lot to me, but like I'm excited to write new music now. Like I heard it like too often, I think.
It's similar for me. I'm in this weird situation where I've listened to the record when it was released a week ago, and that's the last time I listened to it. And I really hope that I won't listen to it again for a couple weeks at least, because same for me. Like I listened to that song, like to the record and those songs, probably for real 100 times, at least 100 times. Because I love it so much. I really do, but it's more about the process. When you get the mixes and the masters, you kind of have to go through stuff a lot. I would agree. I'm really proud of it. I would say, and it's something all the bands say all the time about new records, it's the best record we've ever written. I really do think that, but I need to distance myself a little bit.
Anybody else here already listened to the album 100 times?
Are you sick of it yet?
No, I think they still like it. Okay, cool. Is there any song that is difficult? You're nervous playing live when you guys are going to go on tour soon? Or I'm guessing you played some of them already on the previous tour. You just came back from the UK and parts of Europe.
Yeah.
So any song that was still difficult emotionally?
Emotionally, I don't think so. Like most of the times when we play stuff live, it's so loud and it's like in a different environment that I feel very confident about it. Especially that when I know that people are here that are maybe relating it to it in a certain way. Today might be a little different because it's not as noisy and it's very intimate, and I am already very nervous, to be honest. But technically, it's a very different kind of problem. There was a couple of songs that even though I listened to them 100 times, I definitely forgot how to play them. And I have to relearn songs, pretty much all the songs that we haven't played live yet. That's true.
And I was wondering, from the fan side, what bands, what genre of music do you listen to when you're in that dark place that sometimes motivates you to create, but now you are not feeling creative, you want to listen to? Because I'm guessing some of the people around us are listening to your music when they're in a dark place. So what do you guys listen to?
I got some UK rappers that I really like. Roy Kara is one that I really enjoy. I do listen to a bunch of emo and hardcore, obviously. We've been on tour with Arm's Length, and that band has been very important to me. I think it's about and then indie pop. Yeah, and that big word means like artists. I don't know, like Bon Iver is on rotation. Yeah.
I think when I'm in a really dark place, and it sounds cliche, but I have to use that now to write a song about it, and like
you listen to Shoreline.
No, I don't listen to anything specifically then, actually. So
you don't listen to music at all when you're in a dark place?
Like not like specifically because I'm in that place.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
I get it.
Does the band have discussions about mental health when you do have that dark moment that you either listen to music or before or after, either band rehearsal, that you guys actually talk about, I'm struggling with something, either work, mental health, breakups, anything that we usually struggle? Is the band that anchor, that shoulder to lean on?
I wouldn't say it's the band, it's more our friendship, because we are all good friends. I would even consider us best friends. I don't see, didn't get the reaction. I would say we're very good to best friends. So it's not about bad rehearsal, it's more about when we see each other. Like we see each other all the time. And honestly, like when I am in a bad place, it's very often, and don't take this in the wrong way, it's when we are on tour. When we played a lot of shows that we are grateful that we are a part of, but it's kind of hard on us when we play a show very far away from home as the first band and no one gives a shit. And what we do is we check in on each other on tour. If we are still okay, how we were feeling the show was going. Like this is the first thing that we talk about when we go off stage. How was tonight for you? And most of the times people are given their same answers. Julius and I are the pessimistic part of the band. We are even like when the shows are going very well and it's like really nicely attended, and we are both. Yeah, it was cool. It was nice that the other guys are pretty optimistic and like they're the positive ones, I think. Yeah.
Julius, how do you ask for help when you need either more time alone or more hugs?
I need time alone, man. Okay. Definitely. Yeah, but other than that, like Hansel said that like when we are like at rehearsals, we don't explicitly talk about that sort of stuff necessarily, but I like that I can leave that stuff at home, like in that moment, and just play music with my friends. That helps me a lot already. Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave the darkness aside for a second and talk about the music. You guys mentioned that you tried to not sound like American bands, especially that you're signed to an American label. I think you're the first ever European, mainland Europe band signed to Pure Noise. What was the process of finding your style within the music? I heard that a lot of bands stop listening to punk, stop listening to hardcore music just to be more unique. Is that something that you've done as well?
I would say we are heavily influenced by American bands. I would even go a little further and say we ripped off some American bands.
Who are you lying to? Either us or previous interviews that you said we try to be very unique?
Well, it kind of depends on the interview, I think. I'm not lying either way. There's a comment on YouTube that says that we now sound exactly the same as every other Pure Noise band. And welcome to the Pure Noise Einheitsbrei. And I think that's a good thing because I enjoy all those bands. But we, I think this is our 4th record. This is our 11th year of the band, which is kind of insane. And I think over the course of time of being a band, we just figured out what we're good at and what we enjoy playing and writing. And that's, I would say, emo punk. Emo punk that is more like hardcore adjacent. It feels very natural to me that we found that sound.
Okay. You also listen to punk bands at home, or try and avoid that, especially before you go into the studio?
So I listen to a lot of punk bands, I would say. Sometimes I like to like pick a song I like on Spotify or whatever, and I like try to write the same song but different, you know what I mean? So I take a song as a script and then try to make like a Shoreline song out of it. And that works pretty well for me actually, because at the end of the process it doesn't sound like the original song that I wanted to copy, if you want to call it like that. So yeah.
And I think it works. You guys enjoy the album, enjoy the sounds, enjoy that it sounds not like something else, but also still familiar. So I think they approve. So please keep on doing that.
Will do.
Okay, another question for you guys. Who enjoyed Brittle Bonds? Enjoyed that sound, that track? Yeah.
No one.
I love the love. Yeah. Everybody loves it. Yeah. So if I'm mistaken, it's a term from chemistry that touches on kind of bonds that fail under stress, but is also a reflection of social connections, if I got it right.
I can agree to the second thing you said.
Okay.
I don't have like a lot of ideas of chemistry, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that a personal statement about personal connections that didn't last the test of time, or more about society, that we need to be there for each other more?
It was like a personal song. I wrote that song like I had a couple of years ago. I had this like 10-year, what is it called? Like when you do your A levels in school, and 10 years later, like everyone met.
Couple of years ago. Interesting.
I think it was 2 years ago. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, I was shocked how different lives of former like friends or people I went to school with, how different like every life like went into different directions, and some crazy stuff. Like also like they were my age and they were like divorced and second time married, like that sort of stuff. And I'm not judging that. I was just like, that's crazy, man. Like when did that happen? And yeah, that's like that was where the idea for the song came from. So how different lives can evolve over time, and people you once had a lot to do with, now you don't have anymore.
So is that some sort of a statement to yourself that you didn't put enough effort into staying in touch, or that people do not stay in touch?
Okay.
Or where are you on that friendship scale of we need to do more?
No, that's not what it was about. It was more like an observation of the situation. Yeah.
Okay. So we all know that this is your fourth album. You released To Figure Out almost 3 years ago, 2 and a bit years ago. Yes, in 2024. What is the gap between the two albums? Do you feel like one is a progression to the other? There's a continuation in story? Thematically, you're completely different people. How would you relate the two albums one to the other?
I would say To Figure Out feels more like a extension of our second record that is called Growth, because on both we touch on very political topics. I talk a lot about my experiences as an Asian German or like an Asian European. And to Figure Out was more about, like, we changed a lot on that record. We changed the way we recorded it. We changed the way we've written the songs. So it feels like a little more, like very much in between the second and the fourth record. Kind of makes sense. But the biggest difference between those two for me is that we really knew what kind of band we wanted to be, and by that I mean we really knew that we wanted to make an emo punk record, not experiment too much with like influences that are very far out. I know that I remember when we wrote To Figure Out, we had rap and like lo-fi influences on there. We had a lot of disco beats, a lot of synths, and just we're trying to figure out like how far we can take it. And in hindsight, even though I still like the record a lot, I wish like we would have chosen a little differently in the demo process and have like a little different song choices on that record. Even though like I'm still okay with it. Like I'm not losing sleep over it. And this time, I feel like we had a more coherent vision and sound for the record.
So does it mean that we have some kind of B-sides or anything that was left on the editing floor from the previous album that might see the light of day later?
There's bands that write, when there's 10 songs on the record, they had 10 songs. When we have 10 songs on the record, we had 30 songs. And those 20 songs that did not make it, yeah, you don't want to hear them. It's okay.
I mean, we already disagreed on some stuff before. I think that we want to hear that.
Sure. I mean, there's maybe a handful of songs that like were very close to making it, but there's some demos that I could show you that you would genuinely agree that this is okay that we did not like record them.
Okay, maybe agree to disagree for now. I have a feeling these guys would like to stay longer and hear some of those hidden gems as well.
Sure.
If you don't mind, I want to ask about Seoul. I think a lot of us really enjoy the sounds and also the video and the experiment behind it, meeting other people of the same heritage, of the same story, of not being born in Germany and struggling with that connection. I was wondering, does it feel more comfortable with your identity after the experience? As we said, about 3 years since it was released, probably longer since it was written. Did it change for both of you, feeling more comfortable with your identity?
For me, I would say yes, because that song gave me a lot of self-confidence. Gave me back some more self-confidence. We started talking about that topic on the second record, and when we started doing that, there were a bunch of Asian kids coming out to the shows and telling me how much like Konnichiwa or Soul meant to them and how much they relate to that song. And those are, even like when the band would stop right now, those conversations I had with those kids, and some of them got really close friends, and some of them are here today. I think that if that's the only thing that that Shoreline did for me, I would be very happy about that. So it's self-confidence, but it's also making me feel a little humble that there's something our band was actually able to contribute to the scene, because I do feel like our crowd became a little more diverse. And I've recently found an American hardcore band called Sour that has created a whole record about Korean American heritage. And this is the very first time I've ever heard a punk band talk about that, like specific topic. So I'm really thankful for everyone who's listened to the song, came out and had a conversation with me.
And Ulysses, if you don't mind, on behalf of the rest of the band, talking about how does it feel to hear those stories, either Hansol's or the fans coming up to you and saying, I feel seen finally in the punk scene.
I mean, it's awesome. I like, especially with the stories like Hansol told me about his experiences with racism, or like people that attended the show. Like it makes, I think, all of us more sensitive for that sort of stuff. So that's a good thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any request or hope or wish for the majority of people to do something, react differently to all the minorities around us, whether it's ethnicity, gender, sexuality, language, genre of music that we like, dietary restriction, anything, as the majority, that we sometimes don't see all those people that either look like us, behave like us, but living among us a bit different, maybe have different needs, different ideas, anything that you want to send out there to the world? Because I feel like those two songs were more internal, like me and my challenges. Any requests, wishes for the world to look back on us?
I mean, it's a very easy question, because like, just don't be an asshole. Just try. I don't know. A big part of my daily job is trying to understand how other people view the world through their eyes, just to be more empathetic. Is that the word? Not that I am not an asshole from time to time. I definitely am. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very punk thing to say, and it's a little bit preaching to the choir here, I think. But like, just don't be an asshole. Be nice to each other. Yeah.
How does it feel going back to the city in Bayern that you grew up in, being a champion of the punk scene?
Champion? Oh yeah. What was the question again?
How does it feel to go back to where you grew up in, that the songs tell us that you didn't feel very welcome there, you didn't feel like you belong, but now part of a band, selling tickets to shows, and people come to see you, that you didn't feel like you were welcome there when you were growing up?
I don't think I've ever felt not welcome. Okay. It is more that that I realized that it is not as inclusive as I thought. Because even within the punk scene, I do think, even though we say stuff like at shows all the time that like the scene is not a safe space per definition, blah blah blah, I do think that the punk fan in Germany or across the world is a little more open-minded than the general public. And I do feel that, and that's the reason why it attracted me in the first place. So there is, like, the bubble is a little more positive than the outside world. I would still say that. And I don't feel like coming home or returning, because we never left. It's more about having a positive impact on it, or trying to have a positive impact.
Well, I'm guessing I see it as a thank you to all you guys for making the scene so welcoming and embracing. So Thank you for making Hansol feel part of our scene and writing those songs and feel comfortable to share that. So thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about tour life. You just came back from a tour with Arm's Length, about to hit the road again on your headliner in some festivals. I think the tour starts September 25th.
Could be, yeah.
Okay, could be.
Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about challenges. You already said that tour is a difficult part of band life. What is the most difficult part of hitting the road? We wait for it every year for you guys to come back and visit us.
That's
but
nice.
it's not, was it Ponyhof? Is that the phrase?
Leben ist kein Ponyhof.
Yes, exactly.
Ponyhof.
Ponyhof.
Sorry.
So what's the most challenging part for you guys?
I mean, it's probably the most obvious thing, but like missing your loved ones or your home, and like, I mean, we have the privilege to sleep in hotel beds these days, and we slept on lots of like people's floors and everything, so that's very like on the positive side, but still it's not your own bed, and I don't know, sometimes you just feel disconnected to not being home, and that's it.
Something I found out about myself very recently is when being on tour means being in the band a lot, and I tend to, when there's a 6-hour drive, I will be on my phone 5 hours of that 6 hours, and 1 hour is maybe sleep. And being on the phone for 5 hours is not good for you. And I think it's funny as well, but when I'm on tour, I am significantly more on my phone than I am at home, and I do notice that it really is a bad influence, that I have a bad mood, that my attention span gets worse. It's already bad, but it gets worse, and that I start comparing myself to others more, and I started to look for and buy funny books. By funny, I mean just there's a book that everyone has at school that is the Dirke Weltatlas, and I found that on a flea market, and I carried that with me on the last run and just looked through all the pages and had like a very good idea about the industrial area of Hanover. And I just try to not be on the phone as much, because that really wrecks my mood.
Well, something that I always imagined might be just the romantic fan in me, that there are 4 bands touring together, all from the punk scene. They're all singing about change and politics as well. Do you guys sit and talk about that as well? Either looking for answers or just complaining about our current political climate?
You would think so, and this is taking place a lot less than you would think. But I had, as you mentioned that, I remember I had a very interesting conversation with a band called Koyo from Long Island, New York. They were on that tour as well. And we were playing in Cologne, actually. And we were talking about the differences between the punk scene in Germany and in the US. The conversation started about vegan restaurants in New York, and Harold from Koyo told me that there's a bunch of places closing and that veganism is pretty much over in the US. It feels like it's over because there's less and less people caring about it. And the same thing for the punk scene, and we started to talk about a whole bunch of differences, that the German punk scene is very leftist orientated, or still very much influenced by it, or is more involved in it than the US punk scene. And a very interesting conversation I had about lineups is because that tour is 4 bands. It was all male bands. It was all male people on stage. And I was talking to him about how this is actually a lineup that we would not do in that way in Germany if we were able to cater it, if it was in our power, but still kind of understand where it comes from. But because it comes from scene bands touring with scene bands, and he had a very different take on it. It was more he was not aware as much, and he had his take was that he was growing up in New York, and the scene and the shows that he went to were so diverse. There was no conversation about no Asian people being at shows, because there were Asian people at shows, and there were black people at shows, and I must imagine, because I was not growing up in New York, that being in such a big city that is so diverse does give you a little a different look on the world. And even if you're on a tour with 4 male bands, then this is not as big as a problem, because the scene that you've grown up with has a different vibe. And I don't know if I recited him correctly, but it was very interesting to talk to him about that. Yeah.
Julius, any conversations that you were taking part of or started, and then somebody said, let's just be on our phone for a bit?
Not necessarily, but actually we do sometimes like competitions in the van where we say we will not like touch the phone until we arrive.
Yeah.
And actually that works pretty well, but it's like 20 minutes until we're there or something, so it's nothing too crazy.
And who loses that bet?
We don't. I know. I think we're pretty like we stick to our like.
We try to sleep because if you're asleep, you don't have to. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try and lean on to what you just said about that conversation, because we look around the room and I see different faces, different ideas, different smiles, and I love that it represents the scene, that you have different genders, different sexualities, different stories on stage and obviously in the crowd as well. From your experience as musicians, as travelers, as fans, what do we need to do, other the fans, the music scene, to make it more diverse, more welcome, more safe, which is also a word that I feel like we need to use more, for everyone to feel welcome to either be the next generation of musicians or to feel comfortable to either be in the crowd or jump into the mosh pit?
Wow, big question. I don't know. I think there's two things. One is representation. If there's bands that have people in there that do not look like white male people, white men, is that the correct word for male people? I think that's a big part, representation. That was important to me. And the other one is, and that's difficult because things get more expensive. Putting up shows, touring is getting more expensive. But if we want to attract younger people, I think shows need to be either less expensive or more accessible in a different way. I know there's a concert or like a DIY promoter group in Darmstadt. It's called Angeschimmelt Youth Crew, and they do like just normal ticket sales, but if you're under 18 you get in for free. And I think that's cool. I don't understand at some degree, like from a certain size of the room, there might be problems with, or problems is maybe not the right word. It causes more work to organize. But if you like, this last tour is the first tour where I saw people in the crowd where I generally thought, you are 18 and you are here and this is amazing. And I haven't seen 18-year-old kids at punk shows in a long time. So if we want the punk scene to still take place in 10 years, I think that's kind of an important issue that we have to solve.
Anyone under 18 here? Okay, we're still working on it. Okay.
Maybe, like, I was at a hardcore show yesterday in Münster, and it was like, it's a small venue, and it's like there were like, I don't know, 30 people in there, so not too much, but there were like 3 kids who like went through the doors when the show was already going, and they were like, you could see that they were not here because they knew what was happening here, so they just went in, and they were like probably 18 or 19 too, so pretty young, and like that one guy's eyes open wide, but I like more like I thought he was really fascinated of what's happening on stage right now. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool, but they left.
Oh,
but I still think that like a lot of people they don't like, you have like you need to get them to come somehow.
You need to get them young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for taking a stand and trying to make the scene a bit more welcoming for people of different walks of life to feel safe in our mosh pit and feel comfortable picking up an instrument and be the next generation to serve us with some great music. So guys, please feel comfortable to join the mosh pit and speak up if something is wrong. I feel like we will be happy to hear if there's anything we can do to make people more comfortable in our scene. So please do that. I want to again go back to the previous album to figure out that I felt like I was talking about life lessons, and I was wondering if I can ask you about one of the weirdest words that we use in our language, and being an adult. How do you feel when somebody refers to you as an adult? Is that a bad thing, a good thing? Do you accept it? Only when you do your Steuererklärung?
I accept it.
Okay.
Because I think it's okay to say because it's today. I turn 30 tomorrow, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
When I still don't feel very, I don't feel it differently than I was 25. But when I am at work and I see people who are apparently in their early 20s, I do realize that I got older a little bit. I do realize that. And I also realize that parts of my life have now become all about working, going to bed, working again. Playing in this band is still a big part of making me feel as if I'm still in my 20s. But I'm like, I embrace being in my 30s from tomorrow on. I think it's good. Yeah. What do you say as a 30-year-old already?
Yeah, just go with the flow. It's good.
I recommend not saying I'm getting older, but just start saying I'm getting vintage or classic.
Vintage.
Okay, collectible. Okay,
right.
it feels better, especially when you complain about back pain. So enjoy that. Later today, you're going to play some acoustic songs. Can we expect some surprises to be released publicly? An acoustic version of the album, an acoustic tour? Are you just doing it because we demand it and you hate it?
I don't want to say I hate it, but it's definitely something that I try to do less often than anything else. Mostly because in about, 20 minutes, we will stand right there and you will hear everything we do that is not covered by any kind of noise or amplified, distorted guitars or a drum kit, and that's nerve-wracking for me.
Even in the studio?
Not as much. I mean, in the studio, it is fun, but it's. I think we'll do an acoustic song or a version of some songs. We have a song on the record that is called Paradox Man, that is really heavy. Like every album cycle, there's one song on the record where we state that this is the heaviest Shoreline song we've ever created, and this time it's Paradox Man, and we have an acoustic version of that I think is pretty cool. So yeah, perhaps.
Okay, Julius, same question. Do you like the acoustic side?
Oh, it's exactly what Hansel says. But as long, I don't have to sing, so I can just play guitar and concentrate on that. It's good for me. But I'm not a big fan as well. So.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much. In a second, I'm going to give the mic to you guys, and if anybody has a question, I already have a list that a few of you wanted to ask. So if anybody had a question and wants to present it themselves or has something new that they want to ask, then feel free to get closer to the front. But before we do that, and I thank you guys for your honesty and openness, I'll just mention some shows that you guys are going to be playing soon. May 5th, you're going to play in Halden, Punk Meets People Fest. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going to Denmark on May 29th, Nasty Cut Fest.
Oh, yeah.
June 26th, back to Munster for Veinstream.
Yep.
August 5th, Open Flare Fest in Eschwege.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys are hitting the road again as headliners. Weekends from September 25th. October 9th, you're going to be in Cologne at Gebäude 9. Anybody already has their tickets? Sounds, breathing, okay.
You can buy tickets next door.
Okay. So anybody who wants to ask their question, or am I going to ask it on behalf of you guys? Okay, thank you very much. Then please come.
Is there any intentional? Thank you. Hi, my question is there any intention in kind of putting together the track list? Is there like some storytelling elements, songs that go into one another? Yeah.
Thank you for the question. We haven't touched on that. So when we started writing the record, the first thing we had was the album title. And when I presented it to the other guys, I drew the English word is canyon, but I don't think it really fits. I drew a Schlucht. Okay? And the record is about a person going through a very hard time in their lives, but going through that, surviving it, and then coming out a little more hopeful at the very end. So the Schlucht means that the songs get heavier and heavier, both musically and musically and lyrically, up to a turning point from which the record gets a little more brighter and ends on a hopeful note. So when we started the record, we had the very last song, which is Phantom Pain, and we had to fill in the gaps. So I remember we were very sure that we wanted to have Forgive on the record, which is now song number 4, I think. And then we had to write song number 7, which is maybe a little heavier than song number 6, but not as heavy as song number 8, and needs to fit lyrically. So that's kind of the way how we've written the record. And this is very different from To Figure Out, for example, because we back then, when we were still young, we would just write the best songs we can and just pick the best demos out. And at the very end, we were trying to come up with a name for the record and have an idea what the songs would like maybe fit under. So yeah, this is why we call it a concept record. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Lucas has a very difficult question for you guys. When are you guys coming to Aachen?
Dude, have you seen us in Aachen, wherever you are, Lucas? Have you seen us play in Aachen? Oh. You have not. We played Aachen so many times, man. We played AZ maybe 3 times with the Dead Notes. Darius was here somewhere. We played Wild Rover. Yeah. And we played like a bunch of other times, and there were no people there. So I believe you that you were not there. I don't know. We have nothing planned in Aachen, but we'll love to come back at some point. Aachen is a great place. My sister was born there. Fun fact.
Tim, I think we touched on your question about the writing process. I think okay. And Ali is asking, how's your journey with storytelling and story writing, considering the lyrics that feel more and more personal?
Could you repeat the question, please?
So Ali feels like your writing becomes more and more personal.
I understand where you're coming from, but I would not agree. Where are you, Ali, by the way? Okay, hi. I would say, for example, Soul is I don't think I've written a more personal song than Soul, but it's maybe a different perspective on the new record. I do feel like there's one rule I have with Shoreline in general, whether that's songs or whatever we do, is that we all have to really feel it, as cheesy as that sounds, because the band takes up so much time. So if the songs are not so personal in a way that we feel like we really talk about stuff that moves us and that is important to us, it's not worth doing it. So I feel like we've always been very personal about our band and songs. But I do understand where you come from.
Okay. Accept? Okay.
Accept?
Flo, do you want to ask your question? I'll ask for Flo. Okay. So Flo wanted to know, how is fame affecting your life?
Nice, go.
So we got like a package from Vans yesterday.
True.
So they sent us like two pairs of Vans for each of us. But apart from that, that's it actually. So I don't have I don't think there's any fame in our life.
No.
And that's a good thing actually. So
I do think I do agree. I also like to think that this question was meant to be not serious, hopefully, because when we were driving here, and I'm not kidding, this is feeling a little bit as in a way when we started the band, where we did not have any pre-sale, and we were talking about how many people will be here tonight, and my expectations were like maybe 15 to 20 people, and that would have been cool, right? And all of you being here is, and I'm not exaggerating, is crazy to us. So this is not fame, this is us being in this scene, and us, I know half of this room personally, so thank you for being here.
Anya wanted to know if you believe in world peace.
Wow. Anja, wo bist du? I don't want to make fun of it. I don't believe in world peace. I would love to believe in world peace, but I do think that people are there's too many people who are in charge that are too powerful and too evil and too wealthy. I do believe in change, and I do believe that people can make a difference, but I do not believe in world peace. That does not mean that I don't think people should do good things and that we should try to achieve it. But I believe the good things will happen on the way. But world peace, I don't believe in it.
That's a good answer, man.
I thought you were going to cheer us up.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm not the person to cheer you up. Sorry.
Yeah, but we are going to have a hug circle later, just to feel a bit better about the world. Peter wanted to ask, what would you change in the future? I'm guessing it's about the band. Peter, can you correct me about the question? No? So I will assume that it was about the band, music style.
For me personally, I don't want to change too much. We're playing Gebäude 9 in Cologne, as you mentioned, and I have never imagined us playing a room of that size, and and also the question about fame, we must all agree on Gebäude 9 is a great venue. We love that place, but it is, after all, just a room. It's not as if we are dreaming of playing the Über Arena in Berlin. We're not dreaming about playing Alexandra Palace in London. We're not dreaming about being a massive, huge band. We played a show in Cologne 2 years ago in Blue Shell. And I know that a lot of people here were there, and this is to this day one of my favorite shows ever. And I don't want to I don't want to make it sound as we are not ambitious, because we are. But if that's the way this band exists, playing these rooms and having those shows, that's more than enough for me.
Yanis, who are your best friends in the music universe?
Answer for me.
Outside the band, because I've already stated about my best friends, I would say there's the bands that we started our journey, which is the Dead Notes. Pretty sure the Dead Notes. Hands up, who knows who the Dead Notes are? Okay, pretty much everyone. For those who don't, the Dead Notes is a rock band. Correct me, Darius. Is a rock band that started in the DIY punk scene from Freiburg. That was hugely influential to us, because when I met Darius for the first time, they were touring Russia in a Renault Kangoo, in a small car, and they really inspired us to become the band that we are today. I think I don't want to make it sound this is 10 years ago, but those are the bands that we are still very close to. Yeah.
Okay, and one final question. Kathy wanted to know, what's your dream festival lineup to play?
Wow. All right. Yeah, I can just cater whatever. Okay. Do headliner would be I'd say I'm gonna crowd please. The headliner are going to be Title Fight, and this is their last show they're gonna ever play. Crowd please. Then we're gonna go with Tiger's Jaw.
Yes.
Really love that band. We're gonna have the Dead Notes on there as well. And if we're gonna pick one last band, it's a small festival.
What about like an Idol Class reunion show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with Idol Class.
Where are you going to be on that bill?
If we're gonna play, sure, yeah.
But which position are you going to be?
We're gonna play first, man.
Okay.
We're gonna open up.
And then just drink and relax for the rest of the evening.
Do what we do best.
I love that. I'm going to repeat the dates that you guys can see them on a stage. And if anybody has more questions, now is the time. So step forward. If anybody wants to ask the guys anything else, then please get closer. If not, okay.
I have one kind of stupid but specific question. You said you sometimes take very hard inspiration from songs when you write. Is there any song like that on the album? And can you disclose which song you quote unquote ripped off?
I could name a couple like from To Figure Out actually, but let me think.
I have a very specific one.
On the new record?
Yeah, on the new record.
Which one?
There's a band called Fjord that you all obviously know, and I don't remember the song title, but it's on I think it's Magnifique. It's just a heavy song, and I think the riff on Synchronize is very close to that song, on purpose, because I just love the band. And it's the song and Paradox Man and Synchronize became a weird mixture between, I would say, Touche Amore and Fjord.
Maybe like if you listen to the song Health on To Figure Out, and then listen to the album Life in Your Glass World from Citizen, there's like some like it's copied like yeah, one-on-one, yeah. Even like the snare intro, yeah, it's that's it.
Anybody else? Okay, so get your diaries ready. As we said, May 9th, you're playing in Haldern, Punk Meets People Festival. Nasty Cut Fest, May 29th in Denmark and Copenhagen. June 26th, Veinstream in Munster, not too far from here. August 5th, Open Flare Fest in Eschwege. And then from September 25th, headliner. And then October 9th in Cologne, Gebäude 9. The guys of Shoreline. Is this the low point or the moment after? Out now. Stream it, get it. They're going to sign some stuff. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us and opening up, telling us stories and sharing your music with us. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.